I know you're probably sitting there thinking, damn, Mr. Flak, that's a really big copy of Rust you got there. Damn right it is. You may even think, holy cow, that looks like a massive living room television set with your dining room table slid underneath it to make it look like it's your desk. Well, you'd be right. But guess what I'm about to do? You know the game Rust? The game that's notorious for being poorly optimized, has terrible FPS, is underdeveloped and can barely run on 1080p? I'm gonna launch it now, in 4K, with ultra graphics. What could possibly go wrong? But first, story time. So last I did promotional work with LG, and they make like air conditioners and refrigerators and TVs and stuff. They asked me to attend one of their events, and I went to the event, and you know, they released a whole bunch of products and gaming headsets and screens and like actual gaming screens and stuff. But like the one thing that stood out to me was the announcement of a gaming TV. You, as a gamer watching this, know there's no such thing as a gaming TV. Obviously, I know that too. In fact, young Flak was beyond his years, apparently. And when I was growing up quite poor and I needed a good gaming screen, I thought I'd beat the system. I thought I'm going to buy me a small little 24-inch television set. So I plugged it in, and as you know, if you've tried this before, all the visuals look basically like Minecraft. It was like pixelated and terrible. It was disgusting. Anyway, fast forward to this event, and they announced this gaming TV. It was called the LG C1 OLED, but when they read out the specs of the TV, that's when I got like really excited. So it's a 4K television. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate. It's an OLED TV technology. Cream of the crop. It's got NVIDIA G-Sync and it's got AMD FreeSync. Hertz directly translates to your frame. So if you have a 60 hertz television, which most televisions are, you can only display 60 frames per second on it. So I've seen tons of tweets of people lose their mind when they actually discover what a high refresh rate screen does to your gaming experience. In fact, I would be as bold as to say it is the most important upgrade that a gamer can do.
I actually hopped on Twitter and asked my followers what it feels like to go from a low refresh rate to a high refresh rate screen. These were the answers.
And the results were pretty unanimous. The older generation of consoles only used to put out 60 frames per second, so there was no need to make TVs better than that. Now with the new generation of consoles, they're able to output 4K resolution and they're able to output 120 frames per second. Now TVs are the limiting factor in the console gaming market. So I was super excited at this live presentation. It was online because of COVID. I was typing all these questions and asking them because I was pumped. I was genuinely excited about this thing. And then after the event, they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we saw you liked it. Do you want a TV? Of course I want a TV. So they said, okay, cool, we'll send you one. And it just arrived. I took it out the box. I plunked it on my dining room table because I wanted to make sure this installation of this perfect TV was going to be perfect. And I mean, I don't want to sound like a bit of a pretentious arsehole here, but I love beautiful things. My home is very pretty, and I wanted the installation to be perfect. So I had to take the old TV cabinet off. I had a little 32-inch on the wall, a 14-year-old LG TV on the wall. It was terrible, but it worked and I loved it. So I ripped it off. I had to paint the wall and fix the holes, and I've got a concrete house, so I had to like trench through the concrete and lay new electricity, and so that I can get the installation perfect. I mean, it's the perfect TV. Okay, so this is like, it's sort of a nightmarish catch-22. So I'm busy recording, right? And whilst it looks fine now, the sun sometimes shines through. So when I'm recording the screen, just keep in mind that I have to probably close up the curtains, and then the actual TV itself might be a bit darker or whatever. It just catches, as you can see there, a lot of the light, and I need to record closer to the screen. So just keep that in mind when I'm busy making a recording, because that is no good, for example. Thanks, light.
And thank you, dogs, for your constant barking. Now, in this video, I'm going to be jumping between narration and on-camera recording from time to time. I'm going to be in different lighting conditions. I want you guys to get a full feel of what this TV looks like, both at nighttime, in the day. I'm going to be switching between controller and keyboard and mouse. It's going to be all over the show. But the first game that I tried was Forza, and holy heck was I surprised. Now, I don't usually play racing games, but I did want to play some controller games, some standard PlayStation-esque games off my gaming laptop. So I plugged in a Razer controller and I went at it. And honestly, it was kind of fun, just sitting on a couch with a controller rather than up by a desk with a keyboard and mouse. It was a lot more casual and I actually had a ball of a time. The TV itself performed brilliantly. I played Forza 5 on 4K resolution. I had all the graphics set to ultra and it ran as smoothly as my eyes could see. It was incredibly vibrant, smooth, and I had an absolute ball playing the game. Not exactly a game I'll be playing every day, but that is only because Rust is life.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Okay, 158 ping, that's terrible because that's US, I'm in South Africa, but 90 people on a 125 pop server, FPS. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, there we go. Can you see the FPS counter? Honestly, not freaking bad. It looks phenomenal. It looks mind-blowing, actually. But now, think about this. This is obviously a first-person shooter game. For a person using this as their PC monitor, it would be, right up front, it would be a bad idea. Obviously, because it's so big. But I can imagine playing a game... Oh, that dipped quite low. A game like this is not good for a big screen, but can you imagine like a Skyrim or a racing game or basically anything that doesn't require precision shooting? That is staggering. And guys, remember, I'm on, let's have a look here, full 4K. I am rather impressed at how well this is running. 55 FPS on 4K? Come on. But you know what, the real test is going to be how well does this run other games. You know, games that are properly developed. Because let's be honest, it doesn't matter if you have the world's fastest machine or a mid-tier laptop, Rust will always run like ass. So I decided to play something a little more mainstream, so I fired up the new Halo, I put it on 4K ultra graphics, and I grabbed a controller. Big mistake. Two things I did notice from playing Halo: one, it is incredibly fun, and two, I am really, really bad with the controller. In fact, I was so bad with a controller that I went back the next day, plugged in a keyboard and mouse, and decided to dominate. I am particularly proud of this one play where I saw a guy run, I analyzed that he was going a certain direction, and I made the greatest player of my 6-minute long Halo career. Very spicy. Now, I've never done 4K resolution gaming before, but you can see that my crosshairs isn't on the center of the screen. That's because I've moved the camera right up to the front of the screen to show you the level of detail that I was experiencing. It was quite shocking to see that amount of detail written on the walls, on the signage, and to actually get that much detail in a game is quite shocking. I think I've just become a 4K gamer. Now, one of the things that makes this TV a dedicated gaming TV is because it has built-in gaming software. If I push the menu on my TV remote button, I'll get greeted with an overlay displaying my frames per second, the black stabilizer level, my visual preset, my latency toggles, as well as my variable refresh rate. If I go into the game optimizer settings, it expands with a bunch more Gamer Boy options. I can turn it completely on or completely off at the flick of a switch. I can choose between preset genres like standard, first-person shooter, RPG, or even real-time strategies. This changes the color profile, giving you a more optimized picture, but I'll leave it on standard. Black and white stabilizers are used to change the darkness of a game. So if you're playing a very scary game or you're getting a particularly dark nighttime in a certain rusty type of game, your TV will allow you to see in the dark. OLED Motion Pro sharpens up your image, and there's even a dedicated toggle where you can reduce your input lag. There's AI game sound if you don't use a headset, and even a fixed area where you can activate or deactivate your G-Sync and FreeSync. This was probably my favorite feature of the TV. Now, as you know, 4K gaming is absolutely no joke. It uses a lot of system resources. The only game that I could get to run at a full 120 FPS on 4K was actually Rocket League. And I'm not going to lie, seeing that level of detail, like a full 4K resolution running at 120 FPS, was an absolute ocular treat. You watching this video on YouTube, you obviously can't see what I'm seeing, but when I was playing, I was absolutely blown away, to the point where I had to pick up the camera and move it closer to the screen just so that I could actually show you that level of detail close up, and remembering that I'm actually seeing it on 120 FPS, it was absolutely mind-melting. I have never before seen something run this smooth and this big in my life. Now, just for the memes, I've decided to use this as a productivity monitor. I've got my 17-inch laptop over there, I've got all my peripherals plugged in, the 55-inch C1 OLED on the wall, everything's looking good. The Apex Legends I got in the middle there is running at a windowed 1440p. That's a 2K
Apex Legend copy running over there. I've got all my notifications from my streaming running there. My music player, internet browser over there. Dashboard, got my Discord, I've got my OBS, I've got my chat window. This is like my entire streaming solution, all on one freaking screen. Probably recommend a 48-inch. I feel like the 55-inch is a little bit too big, but like a 48-inch in this kind of style, like a productivity screen, holy heck. I mean, I'm going up close and I'm looking and like it's running smooth. There's no like jaggedness, there's no nothing. It just works. Like I could fully use this as my setup, like 100%. That is so cool. And I mean, it's not just a fantastic gaming screen. Yes, it is a phenomenal gaming screen, but as an actual home TV, a smart TV, this thing is incredible. It uses this LG's built-in software, like a ThinQ software, and the remote is absolutely stunning. It's got a little scroll wheel there as the enter button. It has a mouse cursor, so you can physically guide things instead of just buttons. You can scroll. It's really nice, and it's got all the apps built in, like Netflix and DSTV and all that. It even has Plex, so I'm linked up to some of my homies' Plex servers. I can stream media directly to the TV. No media boxes, no TV, nothing. It's really cool. So say, for example, you're about to start a movie. This is a movie that's supported. If I go into it, you can see it's supported by Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. Dolby Vision is HDR. Dolby Atmos is 3D audio, blah, blah, blah. But look what happens when you play the movie. Look on the top right-hand side. You can see it actually shows you that this is compatible with Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. And the obviously it's noticeable immediately. You can't see it on camera probably, but an HDR movie is very bright, very crisp. Okay, so for this particular part of the video, I'm going to record using the microphone on my laptop, just so that you guys can get a better idea of what the audio sounds like, you know, to like the human ear. So it's right in front of the TV here, as you can see. That's the distance. And yeah, let's see if you like it. Oh, it sounds so good. You know, honestly, for a TV that is this thin, like this thin, I don't know how they are getting the audio to sound like this, but it is phenomenal. And that's all like built-in. Oh my god. Oh my god, I just thought of something. Okay. I just realized that LG also sent me a soundbar. Yeah, I completely forgot about this. They also sent me a SN7Y LG soundbar and subwoofer. I completely forgot about this thing. But like honestly, this TV sounds so good. It sounds so good. What is the point of having a soundbar? Like how much better could it be? Let's check. Okay, so I kind of feel like a fool. It's like this really cool soundbar, and I've never used one of these before. A little embarrassing, but it is kind of gorgeous, like kind of really gorgeous. And yeah, that's how big it is compared to the TV. I forgot about this thing, but yeah, pretty sick. Some power cables. It came with a wireless subwoofer that only has a power port at the back, which is kind of nuts. Okay, so this was quite surprising, okay? I connected up this little soundbar thingy. It's got a nice little display here, but I plugged it in via HDMI. Now, I'm not a TV nerd. I don't really know much about TVs. So this plugs into the TV's HDMI port 2, and that port is called eARC. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's very smart, because when I plugged it in, it automatically switched over the audio of the TV. It's now working through there, and then the subwoofer, excuse the cables because I'm recording with lights and shit. The subwoofer automatically paired. It's a wireless subwoofer, and it paired to this, so that is making bass, and this is playing through the soundbar. I don't know how much better it is. It sounds clearer, it does, but again, I don't know how much you're going to be able to tell on this microphone, but we'll see. Okay, let's give it a try. Oh, also another thing I noticed is if I now touch the volume on the control, the volume now controls that automatically. My TV remote somehow controls this device. Play. Hey dudes, before I publicly release a YouTube video, what I tend to do is upload it to YouTube first to let YouTube do all the algorithm checks and to make sure it's not copyright. Turns out this video was copyright at the exact section I'm about to show you. Turns out that LG soundbar was so crystal clear that Netflix picked up that I was copywriting their movie. So I've had to put this little audio explanation in the middle of their copyright claim, hoping to break it up so that YouTube doesn't pick it up. Let's hope it works, but damn, that soundbar's clear.
Honestly, that is impressive. It sounds phenomenal. I don't know how... I've never used the soundbar before in my life, but I have no idea how this is making sound behind me. I don't know if you can pick that up on the microphone, but the sound is coming from every direction. And I know it's Dolby Atmore and it's 3D sound, blah, 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 but I don't know how the technology works. That is so impressive. I wonder if I put the TV off, if it puts that off. Let's check. Huh. Goodbye. Wow. Okay, so that ER connector apparently is, you know, quite smart. Let's pop it back on. Oh, it goes back on. Hello. That is a very nice looking soundbar, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to mount that bad boy to the wall once I remove my dining room table from the picture. But damn, that is so impressive. It actually feels weird, dudes, because for the longest time I had on this wall, as I showed you in the beginning of the video, a 32-inch display. It was very old, 720p, terrible colors, had no audio whatsoever. And now I've got like the best TV you can buy with the best soundbar you can buy. And now like my senses are just overwhelmed right now. So this is phenomenal. And I mean, like this TV without the soundbar, perfectly fine. I was enjoying it like you have no idea over the last couple of days. But like now, I just feel like I unlocked something, bro. This is amazing. Soundbar Meridian.
LG, this has been an absolute treat. Thank you so much for the gift. I've got this 55-inch C1 OLED on my wall and it is staying forever. Thank you to the viewers for enjoying this showcase with me. And to my beautiful patrons, I love you guys. Catch you next time.